Hi, everyone. Welcome to another amazing topic of conversation. I want to thank my sponsors, the Health Channel. So please join their newsletter for anything related to health. And if you need any working spaces, Alexa's Workspaces can accommodate whether it's 1 hour, 1 month, 1 year, and anything you need related to your work. So, Rosa, thank you so much for joining me today.
Happy to be here.
We were talking about when we met, it was during the Loving Me More program for girls by the Power of the Heels. And you mentioned that when you were growing up, a program like this actually saved you. So
Correct.
I know that you grew up with many challenges. Can you tell us about what were the challenges growing up?
Yeah. I grew up with both my parents in and out of jail. My mom wasn't there much, so the school knew that my grandparents were the ones taking care of me, and whenever my dad was around. So the school had a program called DARE, and one of my teachers was the one that uh, asked me, talk to my grandparents, translated for them. And I started that since I think it was the third grade. And
So
we
how
used to
old were
meet,
you?
it was once a
12?
week. I'm sorry?
You were like 12 years old?
Yeah. I was even younger before that. I had a lot of challenges, but the program, because I was in and out of elementary schools. And I also had an amazing teacher that would tutor me in the weekends as well, so I could learn how to read and write. We used to meet every Saturday. She did it for free because my parents couldn't afford it. She volunteered, and the DARE program was once a week, and we even had Miami-Dade officers. Sorry, City of Miami police officers come in, and they knew my situation, and they're always there to tell me, the situation could get better, could be worse, this is what we could do, these other programs. And because growing up I was terrified of police officers, thinking that they were the bad guys. And
Correct. Your mom
and
was.
and you learn both sides, so you learn to understand both sides. So growing up, I was in all those programs, and I always helped anybody else that needed that hand that was going through or worse than my situation. But I always told my story as long as I could, and I could help somebody. So
Can I ask
those
you,
were
why were your parents in jail? Why were they on
drugs.
drugs?
Drugs.
What was your feeling? Like, what were you thinking? Were you one of those people that said, I don't care? Or were you one of those that said, I need to make it regardless of what I'm going
Oh,
through?
at first I was one of those that, mindset that your parents were always right and everybody else was wrong, until I met this group of people. Even the teachers were always, they will make me pick a side, but they'll open up my mind and make me understand that there's always two sides to the story. And
But
nobody's a bad guy and nobody's a good guy.
open. You were open to listening. That was a blessing.
Yes. It was pretty hard because when you grow up with a mindset that this is no, and this is the way it should be, it was pretty hard until I got to like fifth grade, with the changing of the schools and going into middle school and being a grade behind, because of my challenges. When I got to middle school is when my mind really opened up, when I had different cultures, different religions, different everything, and we all mixed, and I didn't have a problem. I didn't see people for their religion or their color or anything. I just saw people because they were people.
Of who they were.
Yeah.
Did you have any friends in school? Like, were your friends part of your support system?
Yes. To this day, we are friends. I have two great friends. Her name is Nora, and the other one is Maria. We grew up together, and we all have different challenges. And with their support, to this day, we're still together as friends. It's going to be 29 years of friendship.
Well, that's amazing that you had that support. And
Oh,
what
yeah.
about your grandparents? Were they constantly there or in and out?
No, my grandparents were always there for me. They're the ones that raised me. So basically, I call my grandfather dad, and my grandma's my mom. I mean, my mom was in and out the situations that she was in. You know, when she was there, she was there. But my grandfather taught me how to be a strong woman, independent, always don't give up. Nothing's too hard. You know, and that's why I am, or where I am today because of that.
And I understand you're a researcher for a major company,
Yes.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you tell me.
yeah. If it wasn't, you know, for my friends keeping me in the right track and telling me that you, the pay or whatever the situation was, they really guide me into keeping my job and being realistic and understanding that some days might be hard, but it'll get better. And it does. It really does. It
What are
really
the
does.
lessons that you're telling your daughter? Like, what some of the things, does she know your story? Does she know the background?
Yes, I am a firm believer of saying the truth. I talk to her about my past, my mom's past. I tell her my challenges, where I grew up. I was in and out of schools, in and out of neighborhoods. I even tell her that life is hard, but to never give up. And if someone likes you, they like you. If they don't, they don't. You're not meant for everybody, and not everybody's meant for you. I let her know that the world is a cruel world, but it could be good at the same time. So I'm very realistic with my kids.
Is there any special message that you want to send to all those girls out there that might be going through a situation like you were? Like having your parents in jail or not having your parents, because some of the kids now are like, okay, I don't have my parents, so what?
My advice is don't take that as an excuse to move forward. Move forward and leave that in the past. Make yourself the person that you want to be and not the person that you thought you should be. That should not stop you for any reason, because there's certain parts that we don't talk about, but we keep them hidden, but we move forward, and that's what makes you strong. So just move forward. Don't give up. Nothing is hard. If you can't do it today, then you can do it tomorrow.
How did you cope, like every day when you would change to another school? Like your
Um,
mindset, how were you coping, and how were you able to continue to, like you said, the day is going to be better tomorrow?
I I had to get used to it because of it wasn't a choice that I had at that time. Being a kid, um, just take it day by day.
Did
Don't
you
give
have
up.
any siblings?
I If it wasn't for my grandparents, visiting and telling me, that everything will be okay, I don't think I would have made it out of that situation. It doesn't only have to be your grandparents. It could be anybody influential.
Another adult.
Yeah, teachers. Ms. Alvarez, she was my third grade teacher, and she never gave up on me. And she knew my background because the school had to know, because the in and outs and stuff like that. Miss Falco, Mr. Bethel, those are my elementary school teachers that I remember, because we were in and out of the same school, going back and forth, and that was Arband Elementary. Really good people. It could be anybody.
So the influence
Not just
of the teachers really made a huge difference in who you are.
Yes. Yeah. And in middle school, you had Miss Hart, Miss Padron. I had to be put in those special classes because I didn't learn how to read or write until I was too late in my age. So those teachers were always, hey, you write your story. And one day I wrote a story and my teacher was like, wow, you wrote a 4-page essay. And I just wrote it. She just told me, open up your mind and write. Yeah. And I just wrote.
Been amazing. An amazing feeling.
Yes. I'm terrified of writing, and she made me write, and I wrote it. In 2 hours, I wrote a 4-page essay.
You must have been very proud of yourself at that point.
Yeah, even when you get older, so they understand it doesn't get it gets better, but you get wiser and you know how to handle yourself. You could sit down and cry. There's no shame with crying, or going to the water.
You were just a little girl. You were just a little girl. So every time your mom got arrested, you were just sent to your grandparents?
To my grandparents, because my dad, was in and out of my life. The last time I saw my dad was when I was 13, and I didn't see him again until I got married, which I was 20, I think it was 22, 23. Yeah.
That was a long time. Do you still have a relationship with your parents?
Oh yeah, I love my mom. I take care of her now. I don't hold any regret, any grudge, because once you live with that grudge inside of you, you don't move forward. You don't.
That is such a big message to everyone.
I lived with it for a very long time. I held it against her. But then, you know how successful I was? That I went to school. I had my son. My mom was there to help me because she knew she had. And then I am where I am because of that. That's why I'm saying you don't rely on your past. You move forward and you make yourself better than, the person that taught you different. So it's just always do better. Don't give up.
Yeah, you can't give up.
No, you can't. You can't.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
Yes. My older brother. I have an older sister. Then is me. And then it's my adopted brother that he's younger than me. He's 37.
So all of you went through the same thing? Did your grandparents took everybody in and raised all of you?
Yes. My grandparents raised all 4 of us. But I was the one that was the youngest because my little brother, the dad took him. And then my 2 oldest were, a little older than me and were, in and out doing stuff. So my grandparents really took me in.
Are they doing okay? Your siblings?
Yeah. My sister works for the state. My brother has his own company. I work for the university. And my little brother loves building bikes. So
So the lesson for everyone in this is that no matter what your parents did, you really need someone in your life to hold your hand. And I remember that you told me if I can help one person, it would make a difference.
It will make it. Yes, it does. It does. My message is that if I can help you and you want to look into it more, you want to find out a little bit more, I could go into great details, but this I say, don't give up.
Tell me a little
Don't.
more of the details.
Well,
What
I
would you
grew up.
say someone, give me a little more of the details so that if somebody's watching us today and they know or they feel that they're in a hole, they can be inspired by your story.
It could be from growing up in my house and then moving to a neighborhood, being the only person, I grew up in a Black neighborhood, being the only person that's white. I grew up learning. I've also had my sister at a young age have a child. She was 14. I became basically a nana. So, it's the process of knowing of somebody in the family that went through a case of being raped and making it out. It was a hard time.
The result of the rape was the baby?
No,
No?
but it
Okay.
could have been. That was before then the baby came because of the fact of, being raped. And then it came with a lot of consequences, but with help, she made it through and became a great mother, didn't abandon her kids. It's a lot of a background. So I tell people from beginning to end financially, I didn't get my first pair of name brand shoes until I was 17. I had to wash my own uniform because I only had a shirt and a skirt. It's a lot.
Those are the things that kids now take for granted.
Yes. And a lot of people take things for granted. And those are the little things that made me strong. And where I stand today is knowing that I'm proud of myself. I purchased my own house. I did my own savings. I take care of my kids. I take care of my mom, my grandma, So
you should be
that's
very,
what
very proud of yourself.
I am. I am. Sometimes you forget, but you have to remind yourself. And going to your group reminded me of that. And I was like, that's why I got teary-eyed, because I was like, oh my God, these girls don't understand it, this has power. These groups don't have power.
And we need to disrupt that cycle.
Yeah.
We really need to educate the next generation and disrupt the cycle that they can make it.
Yes. And things are hard. Like I said, financially, yeah, everybody's, you can make money and you could be financially, going through it, but it's okay. You get through it. When you think that door closes, it would open. Because, like I said, being this age, I've gone through it. I've really, been through it and I've made it. And here I am.
And you're raising your daughter to be a better version and being there.
Yes, always. And you what they have to learn too is that it's okay. It's really okay.
You know what? I've always said that education is leading by example, but in your case, it wasn't. But you got that leading by example from your grandparents. not from your parents, but your grandparents literally
Yes,
led you to a better life.
yes,
So
that
I
is
guess
true.
this is the message to everyone, that you don't know what you do. Even if you are a teacher that just donates her time to teach a small girl how to read, you have no idea how you can impact someone's life.
Yeah, that, that was my biggest impact. That people, to this day, people are like, what? And I'm like, yeah. If it
Yeah.
wasn't for that teacher volunteering every Saturday, I don't
And she
think I'll
taught
be
you
where I'm
how
at
to
today.
read
Yeah, she did.
without pay, without anything. She just gave up her time to give
And
you a
top,
hand at that. And now you have an amazing life. And
yes.
it's not that everything is
No,
roses.
nothing is perfect,
No,
you know,
but you have your own house, you have savings, you have beautiful kids, you have an amazing job. So that is really an accomplishment.
yeah,
And you
it
did it
is.
on your own. And if your teacher is listening to this, this is the power of giving somebody a hand.
Yes,
And if you can, and if you, me, or anyone that's out there that can give a hand and save a life, please do so. 20 something years later, somebody like Rosa will totally appreciate what you did.
thank you.
So with
And
that,
that's
thank you. Thank you so much. And to everyone, above all, stay safe. And we hope that there's peace in the world very soon. Have an amazing day.